put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. This morning we begin conversations by speaking with Mr. Curtis Williams, and he is the chairman of the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Commerce. And you know, of course, as I mentioned before, the situation with the Forex, I mean, this conversation should be it shouldn't be foreign for any, excuse the pun, there. But I mean, it shouldn't be a strange conversation for any one of us here in Trinidad and Tobago, and even in the Tobago space. Good morning, Mr. Williams, and welcome.
Hi.
You know, we have this situation, and everybody's talking about it, even the layman, talking about the foreign exchange situation, the fact that you can't access foreign currency when you go to the banks, the limits that have been, the cap that has been put there, the amount that you can get transacting businesses. It is really, really a difficult situation that we are placed in here in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, from where you sit, you have your assessments, you have interaction with the business community and their voices as well. So we want to have that conversation this morning as to where we are, where we can be, and where we should be, and how we're going to get there.
Definitely. Good morning to your viewers and listeners on Tobago Updates. Just to state that this foreign exchange or the Forex issue is a pressing issue for the business community and individuals. It's something that we have been going on for years, and we have tried our utmost best to lobby the minister. And in his last two budget statements, he mentioned that he was going to open a window, a Forex window through Exim Bank for the SMEs, specifically for the SMEs. And to date, as you know, politicians, promises, no delivery. And we here in Tobago, we are the end of the width of this situation. And we have to do something about it. Just recently, we heard about there's a lot of bantering in the air in Trinidad where the Exim Bank did open a window for importers of raw material, and they did close that window. And it was disaster. So we now see Scotiabank pulling back, and all the banks is limiting you. So you doing business in this space, it just becomes harder and harder. And the ripple effect of this is that the consumer will pay for it,
That's right.
The people in Trinidad and Tobago, the average folks who go into that business place to purchase goods or services will pay for it. And we think it's only food because we always banter, we can grow local and we could do this and we could do that. Everything that surrounds us, we imported some aspect of it, whether it's the raw material or whether it's the finished product. Adanna, just our simple cars. Just now we weren't able to get parts for the cars. So even though we're not getting new cars, we were not able to get parts for the present cars that we're trying to keep as long as we can keep them. So this situation is a dying situation. And we hope the minister listening to us and understands that this is not a joke thing. This is serious business. And he have to come to the fore.
I know yesterday the Minister of Finance, he stated that he was going to reopen that window for the Exim Bank. I think the decision was taken on the 1st of November. And it has reopened, I believe, as of the 3rd of November. He announced on the 3rd of November that the Exim Bank's foreign exchange window has reopened with a monthly allocation of $25 million US. With that reopening, if that is the case, does that make, what measure of impact will it make, especially in the Tobago space? Because we're talking about 25 million, but how does Tobago access, or what part of, how far into the window can Tobago get into? Because when you look at nationally, what is allocated to Tobago, and let's compare it to the budget, how do we access the facility through this window in the Tobago instance? Because we have to consider ourselves here in Tobago. We can't say, well, it is open, and so when we have 25 million, we have access to 25 million. But we have to consider how much of it is going to be available in the Tobago instance.
Antics upon antics. The amount have reduced. And this window that we're speaking here about is not the SME window that he promised us in the budget. The one he promised us in the budget is for the small man like what operating in Tobago space. This window is for the big guys. This is for the big guys, and they're going to eat. No, nobody knows the distribution, how they're going to distribute this. So there's no kind of equity, there's no sort of transparency as to how do they distribute this money? So it's the big guy's going to take it. And again, we don't know how the allocation going on. No one knows what's going on. The small guys operating in Tobago, the small business operating, the SMEs in Tobago, the person who have that clothing store, who have that makeup store, the entrepreneurs in Tobago who have that small boutique, and who desire that electronic store, and who desire foreign exchange. You can't get that. Even our growers, our agro processors in Tobago, who need raw material, because that's what this window is supposed to give us, raw materials. You really can't get that. That's not for you. So hence the reason why we were asking for something that could please the smaller man on the ground who need at least a 5,000 US on a monthly basis. The folks who have to pay a subscription. We all want to push everybody to digitalization. But all those digitalization platforms need subscription to be paid for, and all the hosting fees and all these other fees, the plugins, they're all associated. Does Big Brother have that? There's nothing happening in this space in Tobago. So when people talk about in the cloud and all the storage, it's fees that you have to be paying. And what happens is that folks like TSTT and who don't have a data center, they have to buy these services and resell them to you. So you there with your phone thinking that is TSTT and Digicel. They buying that from a third party. And if you into the tech, you will understand that you yourself, when you're developing apps and other things, you need to have, even a simple thing as your website, you need to have storage, you need to buy stuff online. It's no two ways about it, because no one in Tobago or Trinidad and Tobago does it. And you have to purchase this thing and you have to use a credit card, because there's no means of getting foreign exchange. You go to the bank, $100 and they watch you with a square face. It's impossible. You can't do business anymore. We are crippled.
And what other steps can be taken? I mean, outside of this window, what are some of the other things that you think, from your assessment and your involvement in the business community and dealing with this type of exchange? What are some of the other things you think that the government can implement to ensure that we have this level of, we need the purchasing power. And we can't purchase if we don't have the foreign exchange, because that is the demand. What are some of the other things they can do, implement, put in place, make accessible to us so that we can get the foreign exchange as we need it to do our daily expenses, to conduct our daily expenses?
As you can see, someone was sleeping behind the wheel. Someone was sleeping behind the wheel. Many years ago, I realized that this situation become even worse than it is today. So we're talking about business now have to export. In order to gain foreign exchange, we have to now export. So when we produce, we have to export. And that would be something we're trying to push the small business to try and see if we could get on the export market. Let's move our market from the domestic, and let's see if we could go regional. Let's see if we could go international with some of our products. We have to look at diversity economy beyond oil and gas. We definitely have to look at that, encouraging foreign direct investment. We have no choice. We are dead in the woods in Tobago. So we have to encourage foreign direct investment. So all those overseas companies, we're trying to sell Tobago and say, hey, Tobago is good. Tobago is right for investment. Come in. Bring in your investment. So if that investment have to be in hotel plants, if that investment have to be in other manufacturing, we are encouraging Cove is open for business. As I was told by one of the board of directors, that Cove is ready. So we are asking all the foreigners who's listening us, Tobago is ready for foreign direct investment. Bring in the dollars, bring in the US dollars, so that bring your investment, and we will talk business. Because Tobago, that's the only way we see getting out of this little hole.
And how do we, we're talking about foreign investments. How do we push that conversation, that narrative, to have that? Because, sometimes we go back to how much power or autonomy do we have to have the conversations, to invite investors here in Tobago? Who is going to channel, who is going to, champion that cause on our behalf to ensure we get that? Because at the end of the day, we have to get things done. And we can't wait until policies are implemented, because you see how long it takes to get something passed somewhere. So how do we get that conversation going? And more than getting the conversation going, seeing, action taking effect to ensure that that happens.
And I'm glad you said that, because we know there's a lot of red tape in accessing foreigners coming in to do investment. One other thing was the land license that we're begging the government to pull it back. You definitely have to pull it back. We're encouraging investment, and so we ask the THE, make haste on that document that you need to produce to the central government, the chief sec. Make haste on it. We need to get that lifted so that we could encourage investors to come into this space. We, the private sector, will push as much as we can. We will lobby the central government to give the THA what is they so desire to make the thing easy for us in Tobago. Because we are isolated. Without we having the permission, let me call it that way, or without we having the authority to do certain things, they can block us. Trinidad can block us in certain ways, because we need that enabling environment so that we could get the foreigners in the space to do the investment. Because you may come down with a great idea, they may come down with the money and they can't get the money transfer because there's some red tape in central bank where they can't move the cash across, or maybe where they want to do development. You may want to do a marina development. Hey, all the money is there, but here EMA and some other agencies just hold you back. And there's nothing you can do because you're waiting on someone in Trinidad to say, well, Tobago, you really need that? Nah, you guys don't need that. Sit down yourself. You don't need no marina. That's it. And that's the end of it, you know. It's as simple like that. Someone in Trinidad is telling you what's going on. So they're thinking on behalf of you. So we're asking those in Trinidad, those in authority, give us a break. We need the investment. We need to get things going on the island because we are struggling without that foreign direct investment. We have a brand new airport coming up, a terminal building. Look how beautiful it is. Airlines have to come in. When the airlines come in, where the folks is going to stay? We just heard the announcement of Condor coming back. When Condor, because I used to work at the airport in Virgin Atlantic times and at other times, a lot of airlines I work with. I work with some of the foreign airline, Delta Airline, and all these airlines used to come into Tobago. But where are these people going to stay? They can't stay by me, they can't stay by you, and they need high-end room. Because the kind of rooms we have on the island, the room stock is not good for them. So the thing had to be a holistic thing. It cannot be just one sector alone. We had to talk about the other sectors because we need the other sectors to be on board when we're talking about investment.
Something circulated in my mind. I have been to quite a few Caribbean islands, Caribbean countries. And I'm wondering what is stopping us here in Trinidad and Tobago from accepting U.S. currency as second nature. Because when you go shopping, let's say, for instance, you go to Grenada, EC or US? That's the question they ask you. No one has ever asked me that question here in Trinidad or Tobago. You just come with your TT dollars.
Yeah, but we encourage. We at the chamber, we were having a conversation with the banks, and they was encouraging us to, to open U.S. accounts and let our clients, which are the visitors, pay via the credit cards, which will go straight to the U.S. account, so that they don't be converted to TT. So you, the business owner, can have access to foreign exchange, and that's a nice way of doing it because we have a lot of visitors who's swiping their foreign cards and it's automatically transferred to TT dollars. So you, the business owner, don't get US. So hence the reason why the banks are now looking at it now where they can set up a US account for the business owners and you can access that kind of currency coming through. Most of us, we need to put up signs that we do accept because you could accept US and other currency. You just know your conversion rate, whether you're going to use whatever rate you so desire. You could use that as your exchange rate. You only could accept it for purchasing of goods or services, right? You remember, you're not a Cambio, you're not a bank, so you cannot be dealing with exchange. You can't be selling. You could accept it, but you can't sell. And even selling on the black market, as we call it, that's against the law. So you have to be mindful of this. But I mean, hey, we are all squeezed. So when you have to travel and you need 500 US and the bank only giving you 100 after a square face, then you have no choice but to go on the black market, which is the illegal market, to get the foreign exchange. We have no choice. And that's what some of our members have been surviving on, the black market rate. And sometimes that rate is all 8.5 to $1 US. So you can imagine what's happening there in this space. And now you're squeezing us more now where the credit card limit gone down. So US will become gold just now in Trinidad and Tobago. And it now start. It will get worse unless something is done and done urgently. Definitely.
What a scary and frightful thought, just thinking about where we are heading. And I do hope that, something can change. I really want to see this situation turning around, because as you said, it impacts all of us, all our raw materials, everything that we need, even to produce anything, we have to access them from on the outside, and we need the foreign exchange, because we can't go to a US company and paying TT dollars. They will laugh at us.
That's
right.
Correct. That's correct. That's correct.
We need to get this conversation going. From where you sit, lobbying and ensuring that you have the conversations with the THA and whomever to ensure that they have the conversation with the central government to do what they have to do. What is the kind of response and feedback and collaborative efforts in terms of getting that going?
Well, we start off with the central government, because the Minister of Finance is the one responsible. Central bank reports to him, and he is the main man in this game. The Prime Minister is also there, but we are lobbying with the Finance Minister. We're trying our best to push him, to tell him, listen to me, something have to be done, and something meaningfully. The THA could do the part that they could play in the enabling part in Tobago, making ease of doing business as easy as possible. But the central government is the one that we have to push. There's an election around, next year's election. So guys, come on, get on board. You have to understand that you can't leave Tobago to suffer and then come back now smiling next year. We will remember how suffering things were for us. So hence the reason I'm asking the central government, think about the small man in Tobago, the one who running that small store in the malls, the one who have to buy and resell. There's a lot of resellers in Tobago who buys and resell. We can't always buy from Trinidad to resell because it's expensive. You will not be competitive, and soon you're going to be out the market. And so we had to build capacity in Tobago as we go along. It's the same thing in contractors, where there are contracts given off in Tobago, and the small contractors, or the Tobago-based contractors, are not getting a piece of the pie because the contract is that amount, and they said, oh no, you don't have the capacity, you don't have the technical capacity, so then you go on the side. So we're asking you to cut these contracts in pieces, bite-sized pieces, so that they could be accessible by the local business who wants to build capacity. It's no way me and you going to bid for a project. You have all the capacity. You have 10 engineers with you. You have all the technical skills. Your office bigger than must be 10 times my little office in Tobago. And we present that to the THA. THA say, wow, he's good. I want him. I in Tobago, I might be doing the job better than you, But because my office is small, I only have one engineer, maybe I'm the engineer, and maybe 2 technical staff, and then they say, nah, we don't, he can't do nothing, he look like he ain't able. But you're not knowing that we had to build capacity in Tobago. So we have to let Tobagoans get a slice of the pie, and just don't push business to all the contractors away from Tobago and bringing the Trinidad contractors. It's happening in all circumstances, and we are pleading to the authorities, understand that situation and don't push business away. And I mean, as we are the Chamber, the Tobago Division, we have our website where we running programs. We launch programs to assist the small business and all the programs we're running so far are free. All the programs, they are free. So we're asking you to go on our website, take a look, tobagochamber.org, and you will see some of the programs that we are running for Tobagonians, local business, people who know coming into the business or who in business and don't understand certain aspects of the business. We are there to assist you free, of course, no charge. And we are doing this out of our pockets to assist the Tobago. That's the kind of commitment we have at the Chamber for the Tobago business. And we are asking, I know we are corporate Tobago and Trinidad listening to us. If you think you can help us as a division, please come on board. We THA as well. If you think you can help us, come on board, because we need the assistance to push that narrative for Tobago business. That's
right. And in closing, is there your final points to share with us, whether it is on the Forex issue or the position of the Chamber of Commerce on the island of Tobago?
Yeah, definitely. And there is something that we always will lobby for, and we always lobby for equity in the way we do business. We know the OPR came into existence. The OPR have some flaws in it as to small business. It don't foster we in Tobago small business. There's some part that have to protect us. I can't leave Tobago and go down to Diego Martin Regional Corporation and do a job. It's difficult for me to do that. So why we having Diego Martin, let's say Trinidad contractors coming up in our space and do a job here? We had to protect our people. We had to protect our own. We had to protect our employees, and we had to protect Tobago. And if we continue putting things away or pushing things away and saying we don't have capacity here and so forth, I mean, looking at the big guys, we're going to lose out on it. All at Tobago, we will all be consumers or sub-office of Trinidad operation. The new airport, we've seen that there's a lot of concession booths and all of it. We haven't seen these spaces. But you know, there are folks calling me in Trinidad and said, I already seen this space. I already done book my interior decorator to do whatever in this space. And we in Tobago, salt. Nothing for us. So we had to protect Tobago. And we had to lobby to those who listening us. You cannot just give away the spaces in Tobago just to everyone outside of Tobago. Give us a slice of the cake. Give us a bite of the pie. But we will see, let's look and see what will happen in that space. All the name brands will be there, and we're going to get the little end somewhere in a corner, go down there and sit down there with your Benny ball and your sweet sugar cake and whatever. Like, we can't operate a bar. We can't operate a duty-free. What happened to we? We all educated in Tobago. We have bright people here, but they're thinking it's only Trinidad could operate it. Please, we Tobagonians can operate this space. We had the capacity here, we had the skill set here, and we had the expertise here. So I'm telling Trinidad, listen, Airport Authority, Minister of Works, listen to us. We have the capacity here, and we want the opportunity to get piece of the pie.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Curtis Williams, the chairman of the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. We spoke about Forex and, of course, building capacity here on the island of Tobago and ensuring that we get a fair share of the national pie. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.